To begin your ocarina, you're going to take your hollow ball that you have already created. You're going to need a mouthpiece, and the mouthpiece will be cut from a piece of clay using the wire tool, and it needs to be at least about 1 inch long. Can be a little bit longer, but this is a good size. It can be left rectangular or it can be made round, but it's going to have to be incorporated into your design. So here, set that aside. I have my mouthpiece, and I'm going to go ahead and push it down so it has an angle to the bottom portion. Okay, so it should have an angle here when I hold it upright. That angle is going to help me when I attach it to my ball. When I attach it to my ball, I need to make sure that if I take a stick and set it across the top, that the top of the mouthpiece is pretty flush with the top of the ball. Okay, so it should line up pretty well here. If there's a little bit of a gap, it's okay. But this is not a good location. This will not work. If I can take my stick and go like this and the stick hits the ball and doesn't go across smoothly, that's bad, right? Same thing like here in the middle. Some people try to go like this. Won't work. Has to be right across the top like that. Okay. Once you have that where you want it, you're going to take a needle tool and you're going to trace around all of the edges where it's attaching. Like so. So you end up with the marks there. Then you're going to score. You're also going to score where it will attach. I'm going to take slip, which is a mixture of clay and water. It's like glue for ceramics. You want to put that on both halves lightly, trying not to push too hard so that you don't have your scoring completely disappear. The scoring will allow the slip to seep into those small cracks and allow it to stick. So you're going to take it, you're going to push it, kind of wiggle it into place, and you're going to fuse the two together. Clean up any excess slip.
You use a needle tool for that as well. At this point, you have attached your mouthpiece, but we're going to add, just for extra stability, we're going to add another small coil around the seam. Okay. So we're going to go here, across the bottom, and then the other side. Top. Top should be okay. We shouldn't have to worry about that. Fuse. Okay. Fuse in the opposite direction. I'm using the needle tool on this side because it's harder to fit the fingers in that area. Okay, so now our mouthpiece has been attached to the ball, and we're ready for the next step.
We're going to take this popsicle stick and it's going to get inserted through the mouthpiece. You need to be careful to make sure that it's pretty much in the middle of the mouthpiece. If you put it too low, you run the risk of it breaking at the bottom, and too high, you run the risk of it breaking at the top. So you want it about in the middle. When you insert it, especially if this is pretty soft, you need to hold it like this. You need to brace the ball with your palm and then pinch the mouthpiece with your fingers. Okay, you're going to insert it straight in. Okay. Now it's pretty important that this is parallel to this. So if I was to take, you should see that it's pretty parallel. Okay, if it goes at an angle, like this, you're going to have problems. And if it goes up at an angle, you're going to have problems. It needs to go straight in. Okay. You'll feel some resistance here once the stick actually hits the ball. When you feel that resistance, that doesn't mean you stop. You keep going. Push it all the way through. Okay. It'll get easier once it's inside the ball, and you'll feel it move. Be careful that you don't push too hard, or else it'll pop out the other side. Once you have your stick inserted into the mouthpiece and all the way into the ball, you're going to take your needle tool and align it to the edges of the popsicle stick. Make sure it's going in the same direction. You're just going to lightly drag the needle tool inward so you know approximately where the stick is inside the ball. Okay, so it should look like an extension of the popsicle stick all the way down. Once you do that, you're going to go to where your seam is. You're going to go just past that on the inside, make a line, and you're going to go about half an inch away from there and make another line. So you'll end up with a rectangular shape. On this rectangular shape, you're going to start by cutting closest to the mouthpiece. Before you cut, you should draw a small rectangle within the larger rectangle. All of this area will be removed.
The needle tool will go in, and you'll feel the stick underneath. It's important that the stick is there. If you don't feel the stick, you need to readjust your needle tool, your popsicle stick, possibly move it around so it'll be in the right spot. We're going to go side to side with the stick underneath so it'll make a nice smooth cut. Okay, and then we'll go down the sides. And we'll remove the clay, and we should end up with a nice rectangular cut where you can actually see the stick inside. If you can't see the stick, then you need to go back and try to cut some more. Okay. It's important that this is past the point where this connects. If you are too close, you're going to have a problem. You're going to have it to where it won't make sound. If it's anywhere on the mouthpiece, it won't make sound. It has to be actually going into the ball.
At this point, I'm going to take my needle tool and sharpen up the inside. So I'm going to go side to side and make sure that the clay is actually hitting the stick. If it's not hitting the stick here and here, then it really is not going to work ever. So we need to make sure it's hitting the stick. On this side, we're going to look at it, and we might want to go a little bit further out depending on how wide this looks from here to here. We're going to make a slope. The slope is going to start up here, and the needle tool will come out down here where the stick is. So we have to work just within this rectangular chunk of clay. Coming down with the needle tool poking out right in here. We're going to go side to side and make an angular cut. Okay, so once you have your needle tool sticking out, and you can see it going down at an angle, coming out right at the wood, then you're going to go side to side to loosen the clay, and then you're going to come up on both sides and pop it out. So I'll scoot it back and go ahead and try to do that. Notice that I'm taking out a lot of clay from that area. It's because you need it to be a very sharp slope right here. It has to have a very nice angle that's clean. You want to make sure that the angle is hitting the stick. Okay. Right here, this angle needs to hit the stick at the bottom. There can't be any gap in between the stick and the slope. It has to be flush with the stick. At this point, you can go ahead and remove the stick, which you want to do carefully because you can pull your mouthpiece off if you don't. So you want to usually brace it here as you pull. Now when you look into the hole, you're probably going to see clay in the area where the stick was. If you see that, you need to cut it out before you can go any further. So in this case, I'm going to need to put my needle tool in and cut around and take that out. So I'll do that here. Go like this, cutting around that rectangle. Now the clay won't come out easily, so I'm going to use the back of the needle tool to push it inside. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. That's what you should see. You should see that really dark area inside. If you can't see that dark area, you're going to have to work some more to clean out the clay from that spot. At this point, we can test it. However, when I look inside, I don't know if you can see, so you got to make sure there's no clay under the slope. If there's clay under the slope and below where the stick would be, then you're not going to get sound. But we'll test it and see.
I hate the wind. So you have to test it out. Yeah, let me get the mic quick. And now the fun begins. You're going to have to go back and forth, and you're going to have to keep on checking it, and keep on fine-tuning it, and keep on working to get it to work. Sometimes it's just a little slight movement in the clay that'll make all the difference. Sometimes you need to work on your angle to make sure it's a little bit longer. If it's too short, it won't give you sound. Okay. That was a hard design. I love it when I get it the first time. Yeah. You're like, look, I'm a pro. Nope. The clay's actually probably kind of too wet to do this easily. It's better when it's a little more hard.
So what you should have is the open hole that goes all the way in, slope on this side. It's important that everything aligns all the way across. The portion inside here, where the clay hits the stick, needs to be lined up exactly to the slope. The slope needs to be a little bit longer of a distance from the top when you're looking at the rectangle and the slope here. So from here to here it needs to be a little bit longer than here to here. And then usually it'll make sound. Once it's making sound, you're going to start testing spots to see where you can get your other tones. And you're going to need to have a minimum of 2. You want them to be in a place where it's comfortable for your finger to move when you are putting air into the ocarina. So we'll try here and we'll try here. This one is working, this one is not. If it's not working, you can try plugging it up and moving to a different location. Okay. So this one is okay. I'm going to try another spot. I'm going to try over here. So now you have one hole that works, you have another hole that works, and you have your slope all making sound. At this point, you're ready to add all of your details and turn it into your creature.